Manchester-based homelessness charity Mustard Tree, which supported Andy Burnham's A Bed Every Night scheme. Shay, if we...
Jo from Mustard Tree, you worked closely with Andy Burnham in Manchester trying to stop rough sleeping, and those figures suggest it didn't necessarily work. How is he going to make it work at a national level if he couldn't make it work in Manchester?
Well, I think obviously I'd argue that there was great progression with homelessness, certainly up until 2022. But I think the reality is I've been doing the job for 9 years at Mustard Tree, and there are certain things that are controlled by national government. So whether that's your housing policy, whether that's immigration policy, training policies, some of these things are actually determined at central government stage. So we can do what we can at a regional level, but if the government does things, even like putting up the money on national insurance, you know, that means more people are out of work and things like that happen. So the reality of it is that there are some things that need to be dealt with at a national level. And also I think it's setting the tone. I think what he's done is put a line under the fact that it's acceptable that we see people on the streets, because I'm a 90s chick, and in the 90s I don't remember lots of people on the streets. And so I think he's just put a line under it saying it's not acceptable anymore.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because it is quite something to say on your first day in office to put that target there. How achievable is it?
Well, I think we can achieve anything. So if you think about the country after the Second World War, if you think about us in the 60s and the last two times we've actually built social housing, it's about priorities. And it's about understanding that the whole housing market is blocked, whether it's, you know, friends at your children, whether it's, you know, the whole housing market is blocked because we haven't got enough housing. So I think the concept to build more housing will hopefully unblock a lot of the housing market.
Shay, do you share Jo's optimism that his intentions can actually be reached, that he can end rough sleeping, given his record in Manchester?
Yes, I do. Even when you look at that record in Manchester, I think Jo is absolutely right to say that this is a national problem and it can't be solved by one city alone because of that pull factor that we all know about. So people just move into the place where it is solved. But even if you look at that, you would see that the numbers, even though it hasn't been ended, has come down in Manchester. So if you can do it there with that pull factor, it is certainly possible to do it nationally. I thought Jo made a really good point that also this is a signal to everyone that it is not acceptable for us to have people sleeping rough on our streets. And tone is very important. Tone that is set at the top means that actually we can all pull together now and work towards that goal.
And how fair is it to say that what might have worked up to a point in Manchester will work in, say, Glasgow or Cardiff or Leeds or London? Are the issues different from city to city, or is the picture generally the same?
I think the issues are slightly different from city to city. The shape of the housing problem is different everywhere. But that's why the Prime Minister is talking about devolution also matters, because actually people in local communities understand how best to tackle the problem in their areas. So setting the tone, giving the direction, but also giving local areas the capacity, the skills, the funding to tackle the problem in their areas is a really good way to start.
And Jo, this time yesterday, the day when he became Prime Minister, Andy Burnham was volunteering at a homeless shelter, serving up breakfast. I mean, some people will say that's for the cameras, it's a publicity thing, but what do you think that stands for?
I think that's a brilliant point to make, because I think what it stands for is about justice and social justice, and I think that's what everybody cares about. Whatever your political party, whatever your options are, you actually care about, people care about justice and social justice. And Andy supported us every year. There were no cameras there when he came to our fundraising dinners. He supported us throughout, you know, loads of charities across Greater Manchester. He's brought people like me into high levels of governance at our GM Reform Board, Greater Manchester Homelessness Programme Board. He's about partnership and inclusivity, and he's very determined, and my money's on him.
Jo Walby, Shay Bacon, thank you both very much indeed for talking to us this morning. Thank you.